the first round of the NFL draft is over, which means we got to look at who could be the fast risers and the sneaky pickups. And day 2, we're going to go over the top 10 guys that I think should have been drafted in round 1, potentially. Guys that are going to be great value day 2, early day 2. It might even slide into late day 2. But we're going to start off with number 10, receiver out of Oregon, Troy Franklin. I really like Troy Franklin as a deep ball threat in the NFL. Some teams he could easily slide in as that receiver too. He's going to become an instant impact player for his deep ball ability there. I'm just really curious as to why at the back end of that first half, the receivers that went, because I had higher grades on a few receivers prior to those guys, and Troy Franklin was one of those guys out of Oregon. I think big-time playmaking ability is ultimately what you get with Troy Franklin. Next, we have Lad McConkey, receiver, Georgia. Really liked Lad last season. He's going to be, I had him as a back end of the first round kind of guy. He was somebody that I really liked the fit. I thought the Chiefs could go out and get him. I really liked the Ravens going out to get him. Ultimately, that didn't happen. So a guy that slides in for you guys here in the second round should be a slot receiver once he makes it to the league. Has a versatile game. Played a bunch of positions in high school. So you might even be able to kind of use him as maybe even a running back, jet sweep type thing, and get really him going. Very versatile player with Lad McConkey. Kind of a little bit of a chess piece there. Then we get Edan Cooper out of Texas A&M. He's my number 8 prospect remaining. Big-time athlete with big-time traits of an elite athlete and linebacker. However, pieces aren't all polished. We will say that. You're going to have to do a little bit of refining him once he does get to your team. But all the fundamentals, all the skill is there. It's just a matter of putting it all together for Edan Cooper, getting some consistency there, and turning him into that elite linebacker. Kind of a position, like I said, with other positions in the past. Just the linebackers usually don't get that much love, not great draft value. Kind of shocked nobody went in the first round at the linebacker position. It would have been a little bit of a gamble, but I'm kind of shocked that we didn't see it still. But Edan Cooper, he's my top linebacker, and he is number 8 on my best remaining players. Number 7 might be a little bit of a shock to you because PFF ranks him pretty high remaining. A lot of people really like this guy. Very polished kid at Alabama. And the only reason I have him lower is kind of go with number 6, N.S. Rakestraw Jr. I do think Kool-Aid's probably the safer pick, but I do think N.S. Rakestraw is a guy that's going to develop. So we're going to put them back-to-back categories there. Kool-Aid McKinstry, like I said, very good player. I just have the potential of N.S. Rakestraw kind of overcoming Kool-Aid McKinstry. Number five, we got West Virginia center, Zack Frazer. I'm surprised he made it out of the first round. He was a late riser on a lot of boards. He was a late riser, but I did ultimately think Zack Frazer would find himself in the first round. He did not, believe it or not. But center, very valuable position to draft. Day 2, you got to go get a center, one of the remaining centers that are kind of just well regarded, and Zack Frazer is that center right there. But talking about Zack Frazer being a center, there's another center that is on the board that I thought was going to go first round as early as pick 20 to the Steelers, and that's Jackson Powers Johnson. I know there was some slight concerns that came up with his medicals, but I really like JPJ. I think he's going to be fine at the NFL level. He's a guy that's going to come in. He's a guy that's going to block for QB, obviously, but he's a guy that's not going to. He's kind of just not going to let you do anything to the QB. He's going to be chippy with you. If you get up in the QB's face, JPJ is the kind of guy that's going to stand up and push you out of the way, and that's the kind of center that you want in the NFL. You want somebody that he ain't gonna let you touch the QB. He ain't going to let you touch him. So, no cheap shots on the quarterback. JPJ, bring him in if you're looking for a center. He's my top guy on the board. Giving a little plea there to get him drafted. Really like his game out of Oregon. Receiver, Adonai Mitchell is my 3rd best prospect. Like I said with Troy Franklin, like I said with Lad McConkey, it makes zero sense to me why Adonai Mitchell is still here. He should not be here. The Bills have had countless opportunities to draft him, and they've traded down twice. And the receivers that went, they were not, in my opinion, better than Xavier Worthy. Well, they went up for Xavier Worthy, but they were not better than Adonai Mitchell. They were not better than Adonai Mitchell. They just weren't. He has all the tools, in my opinion, to compete and be a receiver number one for any team in the league. Will he be that? I don't know. You will have to develop Adonai Mitchell. There are some questions on whether or not he kind of has the motor and like the ability to become that, because at times he kind of seems disengaged. But Adonai Mitchell out of Texas, I think the tools are there. I think on the right team it makes sense. The Bills could be that right team. Watch out for him early day 2. Number 2, Cooper DeJean, corner. Could slot him in at safety out of Iowa. Very versatile athlete. Probably would have been drafted day 1 if it wasn't for his injury. His injury medical records, all that, he came back fine, but I still think that's probably what pushed him out of the first round. And then obviously with all the offense that went in the first round, it's just really hard to see Cooper DeJean kind of where he would have went in that first round, unfortunately for him. But I think he's just too good of a player to leave around. Could slot him in at safety, could slot him in at DB. So Cooper DeJean, he's my second top talent remaining. And number 1, Johnny Jon Newton out of Illinois. Size killed his stock. To me, he's still the best defensive tackle in this draft. He obviously has the lack of size, but there's also a lack of value defensive tackle. Byron Murphy overcame it. Johnny Newton could not overcome it in the draft, but somebody on day 2 is getting a steal. I don't know who it is. I want to see somebody trade up for this kid. He is too good of a talent to be here. I think, personally, I have a top 10 grade on him. He is that good. He is that good that he is a top 10 player in this class, but the value ain't there. In terms of positional value, and the team's kind of just not giving him a shot because maybe they're worried about his size at the next level. But that's my top 10 for day 2. Let me know who you think might be some sleepers there in day 2. Thank you for watching.